Today, friends, we are talking about Gran Turismo 7. This game has me all kinds of in the feels, all kinds of nostalgia, all kinds of this should be a thing in every game-ness. I'm gonna give you 5 reasons as to why I'm mega excited about this game, and then a million other things, because there's just too much stuff. Now, I've been a huge fan of Gran Turismo for the longest time. It's been a fantastic series to me. GT5 is probably the one I put the most time into. I was like, yeah, we need some more of this. Now, I'm primarily an arcade game racer. Now, that's what's gonna be different with Gran Turismo. Gran Turismo is really one of those games that ticks all the boxes for all the different kinds of people. I am not a crazy simulation person. I play racing games for the fun side of it, and Gran Turismo is more of a game than it has probably ever been. They're adding so much cool, fun stuff that just makes it so accessible, but you can go to the extreme, and I think it's the best thing ever. Having someone like me or someone like that's just getting into racing games be able to do the beginning and get to the end and be a better driver is fantastic. A huge point of racing games over simulators usually is to do with the progression. Now, that's muddied a little bit recently, but Gran Turismo always had a fantastic progression in the early games. It kind of faltered a little bit with GT completely. Obviously, in the previous game, the focus was just online racing. They're now adding this to be more of a game. We've said it before, it's more of a game than it has been previously. It's like the previous sport was a prologue and the test of multiplayer. And of course, if you're on a PS4 as well, it's great news. You do get access to this game as well. It's crossplay. I'm happy about that. More people to join in. But progression is back in a big way. They started out and they mentioned to us straight away, yeah, by the way, you start in a proper starter car. A proper first car. That instantly had me hyped. Within the first like 3 minutes, the first bit of footage they showed us, they talked about how the progression is back in a big way. I personally am kind of fed up of racing games not taking progression seriously, and of course Gran Turismo is a long-term game. We've got to think that these games don't come out every other year or every year like some games do. So this has got to last us 5 or so years, let's say. To have a progression that's going to last someone that plays it a lot that long is always good news. With the cafe, it seems like they're adding a bit of like an easier way into these cars, which again, I'm kind of for. That's absolutely fine. I think there needs to strike a balance, and I'm interested to see how Gran Turismo is going to do it, considering the hardcore fan base. This is ticking on the boxes for us. Of course, simulation is my number 2. Simulation in a track simulator is kind of important. Of course, every game they've improved upon how the physics work with this game, the physics calculations. Ultimately, you can even see from some of the footage the tire deformation. I want to say deformation, not deformation. Either way, you can see it properly working here. And what helps even more so is the excitement and hype. They keep talking about the DualSense. Now, we've not had a game that really properly uses the DualSense properly, at least on the racing side of things. We've had some attempts at it, but who better than a PlayStation first-party studio? For those that don't know, I'm going to sit here like an advertisement. On the Xbox One, they had the ability to rumble in the triggers. That's not what this is. The triggers, in case you don't know, are adjustable, so they push out. They're stronger or weaker. For example, in BMWs, from my experience, the throttle is heavier. You have to press more for the throttle. To see that in the triggers, I think would be properly awesome. Will they go that far? I don't know. To have feedback of it pushing back for ABS or tires reaching their limit, who better to set the benchmark than a Sony proper game? If they don't do it right, who's gonna be doing it right? Is it a third party? Probably not. It's got to be a Sony first party studio. They've had the longest time. But they didn't just talk about the car simulation. No. They spoke about weather simulation so that the tracks dry in the locations that they would. Now, they didn't say if it's based upon where you're driving. It's probably more to do with the fact of the racing line. If you look at the footage they show, they're showing cars going over the same points, which is obviously what happens in track racing. I don't know how much of like a simulation this is. I think it's probably more a known path and it dries in that location more so, which again, that makes total sense either way. It's an easier way of doing it than doing it based upon where the people drive, I imagine. But either way, it's super cool to see the track slowly dry. There's also the simulation of weather in general and night skies and cloud locations and cloud formations and things like that, which are just you've got to have really mastered car physics in your racing game to start talking about simulating cloud formations. What the frying heck is going on here? Like, that's just mental. The amount of time that the weather people must have had to do this type of stuff clearly shows that this type of jump from building on the previous game to allowing the crazy details, they're just allowing them to fly. That makes me happy, okay? Extremely happy. Of course, my number 3 is good. These are not in any order, by the way. It's going to be customization. The customization in this game has me really excited. From memory, Gran Turismo 6 it had possibly a bit more customization. If not, GT5 had a lot of customization. I remember building my own wings in Gran Turismo, auto sculpt equivalent as a Need for Speed head. That's just next level. I am so I love that so much. But on this game, it seems like you pick the actual wing and you pick the end plates. There's things, for example, like wide body kits in Gran Turismo, and the animation you already know. It's incredible. We've all seen the animation. It's beautiful. It's so good. It's purely Gran Turismo, and I love that. They've just gone pure, like, craziness again. So according to them, there are 60 tuning parts per car, at least, which is awesome. I'm very excited about being able to put some parts on. I think this system being back is so much better than the point system they had before, where it was just kind of you up the perform. This is so much better. It allows you to really just pinpoint each part. Of course, GT Auto returns with the oil changes and the car washing, which I'll speak a little bit more about later. I'm so happy that's back. And finally, one of the best points of customization, seemingly so, it seems like engine swaps may be a thing. Now, whether that's swapping an engine ourselves, or, for example, it could just be there's special versions of cars that have those particular better engines in them. Either way, the Beetles that had a race around the track, or showed the comparison between stock and modified, there's a Porsche engine in there. It's even listed on the upgrades menu that there is a Porsche engine in there. Mate, that thing is absolutely no longer a standard Volkswagen Beetle. That is not just performance upgrades. That is an engine swap. The difference is just staggering, and I'm very excited to see what we can do with these. There's just so much stuff that I'm so excited about. Number 4 is the multiplayer. This is an interesting one because, to me, the multiplayer in Gran Turismo games has always been above basically everything else. The way it works in terms of the multiplayer, the way the lobby system in general is put together is the best. There's no competition. Creating a lobby and naming it what you want gives you the ability to say, oh, this is a drift lobby, we're just drifting for fun. This is a drag racing lobby, we're drag racing for fun. This is serious racing over here, only bring this type of car. And you can limit the lobbies. It just allows you to create like friendships. It allows you to create groups of what you want to do, and you can just jump straight into that. You can go to the menus and go, oh, well, I wasn't actually feeling like this today, but everybody's racing hatchbacks at 100 horsepower, Toyota Aigos. Yes, please, let's jump straight into it. And you get to pick and choose those settings. It's fantastic. We also can't forget about the fact it has split screen. What games today have split screen? None. The fact that this game has split screen and again, I imagine still runs at that solid 60 is just staggering. Of course, the resolutions are lower, but still, the reason it's traded off nowadays is because most people are playing online. This game has that. The only request I would have for multiplayer is, I hope, if not now, in the future, we have the ability to upgrade and maybe even buy cars from the menus, because I hate leaving the lobby, customizing a car, and then having to search again, or finding out, oh no, my spot's gone and I built a car for no reason. That's something I want to see changed. Hopefully that's a thing. I would appreciate that. Number 5 is Brand Central. This was the opening cutscene for Brand Central, and I saw it and I was like, mate, are they really gonna let me walk around and purchase a whip? Am I about to walk over to a Porsche? And then they showed the menu, and it's like, all right, it is the same as it was in the previous game. It loads a little bit faster. I should hope so, because if you're on PS5 especially, it should be instant. It should be swap it. All the cars should be loaded instantly. It should be the thing. But a lot of people noticed that the pricing of the cars seems a little bit ridiculous. We're looking at 30 million for some cars, for Mustangs, which just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I'm pretty sure that this is a mistake and this is going to be rectified because, as you may or may not know, the used car dealership is returning, which is such good news. I am so happy to see this. It's going to refresh every day. It looks awesome. Buying cars for much more reasonable prices. Now, I say reasonable, but you will see some highly expensive cars that cost more used than they did previously. For example, 22Bs costing 80,000, which again, that's a lot, but that's like accurate to GBP USD prices. So maybe the prices on the previous screen were to do with yen, which would, I guess, I don't know yen, but the currency which is a little bit higher in number to value. But I'm so happy the used car market is back. One of the best things ever. I'm so excited to do budget builds and the like, just even setting our own personal challenges. We can do our own budget builds based on these cars that just pop up. Fantastic news. Beautiful. But yeah, considering a Silvia costs 3.5 million and a 22B costs 80 grand, I think this menu just isn't lining up properly with I think it's a mistake. Don't sit here worrying. I'm sure that's a mistake. And especially when they then go into the next category, which is classic cars, which some of them are like 100k or less. Ain't no way a Silvia costs 3.5 million when this is the case. So chill, we can wind that back. It's okay, no problem. But those are just some of my favorite features. I didn't want to sit here all day listing those to you because ultimately I didn't want to just re-jog everything the main video actually said. There's definitely some things that I've missed that you guys will be mentioning. I'm gonna even drop some now. The return of licensing testing. You already know I'm gonna fail massively, get very extremely angry, but that's all what it's about, baby. I want that. A game should be difficult, and a game is going to last 5 years, even more so. There's possible mixed class racing, which is super exciting. Mission races looks awesome. They're just kind of coming up with different types of missions for us to check out and try. We got drag racing, which is incredible. Drag racing in Gran Turismo, yes please. Drift racing in Gran Turismo, I'm gonna take that. Of course, that was in the previous, but I'm interested to try it in this one and put more time in with my brand new wheel rig setup, which I did buy specifically for this game. I knew it was coming out. I've got a direct drive wheel. I'm ready to properly put the time in on that. And of course, we got to mention ray tracing on the PS5 version. It's looking, the lighting is genuinely looking insane. In some angles, this game looks real. And this is just in the game. Scapes is a different beast. Scapes is using real photos in the background and putting game cars in it. But the fact it can trick you really shows that how realistic some of these car models are looking. So you already know, Gran Turismo is at the top of my priority list. Racing games are at the top of my priority list. And of course, racing games with good progression and good customization are even higher up the list. I'm so ready for this, mate. I am really, really excited. So please, in the comments, let me know exactly what you're looking forward to with Gran Turismo 7. You already know, day one. Hopefully before, you'll see some footage on this channel. I'm excited to jump in it with you guys on live streams, and of course, creating open lobbies and creating challenges with you guys, like budget builds and stuff, and building our cars up together. There's so much that we can do in this game, and this is going to be the track racer for the foreseeable. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know your opinions down below. Smash like, subscribe if you are new, and until next time, peace.